Welcome back, my beautiful family. I'm with my beautiful toots, and we are just enjoying our little getaway here. And we're thankful for, I've been a lot more thankful for everyone that's encouraged us and loved us and supported us. And even those that didn't, and all the tough love and everything that we've received from you guys, we just want to say thank you. Uh, Sometimes you need a hug. Sometimes you need a kick in the pants. Noel's giving me more kicks in the pants than hugs,
Hey.
but I needed it, And I feel like we sometimes need, uh, you know, tough love sometimes when we're learning and growing. But
But what I do notice is I keep telling people, I have a new man. I have a new man. And I think I've been saying that for the last couple years. And he's literally changing before my eyes and I get to experience it. I didn't marry him for that. But when somebody's so different than they used to be, it's awe-striking that you get to watch the transformation. And it's really encouraging that you want to be that same transforming life that you see. So I do. The things he says this year, the things he says today are not what he said yesterday and are not what he said last year. But that's awesome because it means we're not going to stay the same. I don't ever want to be complacent. Any examples?
yeah, well, I saw that there was this interesting formula. I forget the name of it. Maybe I'll post it in the link. But where you're growing and you start with knowledge and experience and stuff like that, or time, and then you start off with nothing, and then you're like, a second later, I know everything, and then you drop, I know nothing, and then you, well, man, there's a lot to learn. Hey, I think I'm kind of getting it, and then you finally start trailing off into a good place. So I feel like when you start trying to do things in life, you feel like you got it all together. You start, you try, nothing works out, things fall apart, and then you're like, man, I need to try again. I need to restart. I need to. Oh man, why am I so discouraged? We were spending time with a friend, and you're like, man, am I doing everything right? Am I doing something wrong? Is there more to it? And it's like, man, that's so good. I love when people challenge themselves, and some people might call it depression, and I think I might have made a video about this one called Deep Rest. You should check that one out, because when I'm deep rest, not depressed, when you're in that place of stillness, you feel like you don't know what you're doing. You don't feel like you're in a good place. And a friend of mine too that I've known for many years, just I haven't talked to them in so long, but through a mutual friend, they shared my I'm in deep rest message, and they made them laugh because they were praying and fasting and trying to do everything they could to live life, and they got so discouraged. And after a long fast, they're like, I'm so depressed. Something's wrong. And I said, you're not depressed. You're in deep rest.
Keep going.
Keep going, because as you get out of that plateau, you start growing. Like, that's the best time. You're in the most perfect
It's like
place.
instead of keep being circled around to the same emotion or same experience or something that's held you back, you're about to break through. You don't realize what's on the other side, but it's beautiful, this challenge. It may feel really awkward and uncomfortable, but keep going. Not just have to be about fasting, but that emotion.
Yeah. So we've been going through those emotions too, where it's like, I don't know nothing, I'm clueless, life doesn't make sense, I don't even know why I'm here, I don't know what to do, it feels like God's forsaken me, and you're like really in the pits. But
It feels like whatever worked last year isn't working for me this
Yeah,
year. What
yeah.
worked for me last week,
yeah.
it's definitely not the
Yeah.
same. Good.
But that's what I'm learning to encourage my friends in, and I'm encouraging myself as well through this. It's like we should be challenged daily. Like everything we believed, I said this to a friend, everything that you've known and you've believed, you should challenge it aggressively this year. Challenge it. I'm not telling you to throw away your faith. What I'm saying is challenge it and grow. Challenge it and mature, overcome. And my friend's like, yeah, but I want God to lead me every little step of the way. And I was like that too. And I didn't do anything because God would tell me a million things, and it was just way too overwhelming to do. So I had to reset my life, and you can watch the reset video of just where I have to reset and just become friends with God, and just start learning that that's what he's after, is just to have that friendship and intimacy with him where we can just enjoy life with him and try things and not be afraid because he's with us. But many times we're sitting and we do nothing, and then life gets really discouraging. And I tell my friends, like, you have to challenge yourself, challenge your perceptions. Because if we think one way and that way hasn't produced fruit year after year after year, and you say, well, he has come through, well, guess what? When everyone got a raise at work, you did too. When recession hit everybody, it hit you. When everybody got a stimulus check, so did you. So how are you differing?
Or what about when you are doing something the same year after year and you're just plateauing? It's like not being challenged, not being stretched. What is it? What's the mother of necessity?
Invention is the mother of necessity. Basically, necessity is the mother of invention. So when there's a problem and you need to fix it, that's when you start thinking.
Your potential goes through the roof.
I pray trouble times visit you, difficulties and struggles, to cause you to think, grow, and mature. And you will find that these struggles and challenges really helped form you much more than everything was blessed and peaceful and I had money and I just sat comfortably that year.
An example is like Paul, one of his first jobs this year. He found out too low, and through everything he went through with the guys and the process and just doing what was in his heart to pay them and to love them and to walk with them. And he felt right, even if we took a loss. And we both left that conversation and that situation going, I was so glad that we walked this out. I'm so glad I was challenged. I'm so glad that I learned and I got to sharpen myself and love people and see where I was in my heart.
Yeah. I think it's a cool place to be challenged through all these things that we go through, and it strengthens our bond in our marriage to go through these challenges. Our heart's still contending to see children in our life. We're still contending for finances to be able to do everything God's asked us. But the cool part is everything God's told us to do and all the visions that I've had in my heart, I was praying for him to lead me, but as I just started moving by faith, knowing he's in me and he's enough.
Raw faith.
Like no clue, just gonna swing at everything. And I don't mean every single thing, I just mean everything, which means constantly trying everything new and starting 3 or 4 different businesses, just attempting, trying, and as we're working at this one might blossom, that one might blossom, but I'm not just waiting for one thing to work out and then I'm not doing anything. And next thing you know, it's like, well, I wanted to do healthcare in Japan. Hey, I'm in the healthcare industry now. I wanted to do some helping, get people into Japan because they need people to move there, but it's so complicated. I wanted to do that, and now I have a friend trying to help me do that, and I'm seeing that I had all these dreams, but I, for some reason, thought God will just sovereignly move and make it all happen. But I'm realizing in this place of rest, I'm more peaceful, I'm more calm, but yet I'm moving 1,000 times more aggressively than I did when I thought I was peaceful and doing absolutely nothing. and
I'm being really trying anything and everything, studying, learning, YouTube's a lot of things, and I'm like just gonna swing, just gonna try things. And I find that as we move towards something, it's usually not going to be the thing we thought that we are going to do or we want, but we would never find out had we not gone on that path. So for an example, my brother was telling me about baby formula, and he really would love it if somebody created this baby formula that would be way easier than mixing all these things together that they do that just takes so much time. So I was like, okay, I think I could do that. And that would be beneficial for many moms, I guess. So I just start on the path, started researching, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, a few weeks later, I get some information. I find out how strict the FDA is. And basically, the best they can do is mixing they can't even call it a formula because of the laws and regulations in our country right now. So at least I knew, okay, I'm not going down that rabbit trail anymore. But I learned about these other things and how, if I ever wanted to make a formula, I know where I can go get the supplies and manufacturers of these ingredients. And just, it's kind of fun.
It's a puzzle. You're kind of trying to find the pieces. You don't know all the time what it's going to look like, But as you start trying, you start figuring it out. And I'm seeing friends get on the same path that I've been on, and they're trying, and I think they'll figure it out too because they're moving. But when they weren't moving, that's like the worst thing in life to do. You can pray all you want, but eventually you have to move. You'll have to co-labor and partner with God, and He's in you. Conquer, go. I'm just gonna wait on Him some more, and then I'm like, oh, you missed it, and then I just gotta let them pray it out. Maybe another year goes by. Maybe they'll try it, but imagine 5 years go by and you're still doing the same thing, waiting, fearful, afraid, instead of boldly conquering because it's already in you. You should be the one doing this. And I love this phrase: if not now, then when? And if not you, then who? And then on another T-shirt, it's like, if not now, then never, and if not you, then no one. And I was like, that's so true, because most of the time we don't do anything, we don't try, therefore we already failed for lack of trying, for lack of effort.
And to be really raw, our hearts, especially mine, is like, well, it's God, and if you really are the ultimate walking in the Spirit, you just reach your hand out and you get what you need, or you just see it and believe it and you receive it. What's this striving? What's this work? But then again, if we're in the kingdom and it's come, and you're going to live, and you're going to manifest Christ in your expression, which I have a whole heart to share on one of these videos, what are you going to do? Okay? Whether you believe in the end time and one day when we're going to be with Him, like, what are you going to do for eternity with Him, whether it's then or now? What does that look like? And why don't we step into that now? If you can fly and just travel like the angels, that's great. Why not? Why are we creating an airplane? Why are we creating something with the Lord? Is it to be expressive and to do something with Him than to just be?
But I thought we were gonna grovel around the throne singing "Holy, Holy, Holy" for a couple eternities to boot.
But guess what it says? That's you're hitting the verse. How does that verse go? Holy, holy, holy. The whole earth is full of His glory. The earth, who's the one they're praising, they're in awe that they cannot believe. It's the people, it's Christ in them on the earth. The whole earth is filled with His glory. It's us. Let's express Him. He's shining through your dentist. He's shining through your artwork. He's shining through your motherhood. He's shining. It's Christ. Let's love it. Let's learn from each other. Let's grow. There's never been a time like now where you can literally learn anything at a moment and become a master at it. Like right now in this day and age.
But I want it now. Guess what? I'm with the philosophy kingdom now. I'm not kingdom tomorrow, but Jesus is coming. Yeah, you're right. He's here. But one day He'll show up. He's here. Guys, you're going to get this more and more. Our kingdom talk is still not kingdom talk. It's really religion flowered up in a different dress, but it's still the same thing. What I'm realizing, guys, is if it's kingdom now, and if Jesus says it's finished, then it's done. Then what are you waiting for Him to return to do?
Why would they be gawking at the earth?
Yeah.
The whole earth, holy.
Yeah.
They had to say it 3 times. The whole earth is filled with His glory. Does that sound like a future thing?
Yeah.
He's so amazed at you.
Mm-hmm.
He's so mystified. The angels are like on standby, like the love, the things that we can create and be and do. Like, we are the expression of His glory in every way.
You are the Christ of God in the earth. You are the anointed one. To be anointed, He anointed you to go. Guess what? Jesus says, I fulfilled the law and the prophets. It said that. He fulfilled it. Then what are we doing quoting Daniel like one day something bad's going to happen? You know, the cool part I started thinking is, if you read the Bible as a it's all finished book, and no longer one day something will happen or something will come, or we're still waiting for Jesus to come and rescue us out of this hellhole, instead of realizing He's finished everything, and I hope one day we'll understand what He did on the cross. One day we will. I don't think we get it yet. I don't think anyone's...
Let's get some new glasses.
Yeah, but you start realizing everything's done and accomplished with Him, it'll wreck you. The Bible will mean something brand new to you, and I'm reading it sometimes with fresh eyes, and it's just like, oh my gosh, we have it all. or you can read it. One day we'll have something. There's different ways to read it. You can choose to set your own narrative when you read the book. But many times I think, well, why are we so afraid? I think it's because we've lived in a culture and in a community where we want to fit in to communities and churches and cultures that we're afraid to challenge the status quo. I encourage you guys, challenge me, challenge the word, challenge everything you've heard, and grow and say, well, what if he is right? Now what? And what if there is more? Then what? And as you keep growing and challenging, you will actually grow more as a person, and you'll actually develop, instead of like, oh, they don't think like us, they're the devil, and we instantly tune out anything they would say. And I started realizing we're so afraid and intimidated that as soon as anyone starts talking and saying something that we've never heard, we turn it off because we're afraid, that we're vulnerable, we're intimidated. And I started realizing I can go hang out with any culture, any religion, any kind of people group, and not be afraid of anything they have to tell me. And I won't say, I'm right, you're wrong, and I won't fight them, and I won't try to prove it. I will just live it. And I can be confident that I don't have to fight anymore. I can just be the light. The light doesn't try to fight the darkness. It just shines, and the darkness has to flee. We can be just like our Lord. And the Bible says it is enough to be as your master and as your Lord. And then we read, yeah, but no one's going to be like Jesus. What are you saying? Are you like Jesus? We hear the Bible, and then we quote our own logic. We don't even believe the Bible we read. So stop reading it if you don't even believe it. Or you can read it with new eyes, with new glasses, and you see everything very clear and crystal clear that he is in you. You are just like him. You're enough. Now let's go conquer. You're like, well, what are you doing? Well, watch me. I'll keep starting thousands of businesses like he told me to do that. And I'm like, great. And then I'll start all those nonprofits that I want to do, that he showed me, and he showed all these desires in my heart. And I'll just keep working at it. And you can keep sitting there and praying and waiting on him. Or you can get off your blessed assurance and start following and creating with him.
But then again, I don't know what's in your heart and your conscience and what God's telling you. So I would never sit there and say somebody's in error because they're not doing what you are doing, what you believe.
Correct. I had a friend who was saying to me, hey, Paul, you really like to do this, but I've always done that. And now God's telling me, I don't want you to do that. But you've never done that. So he's telling you, you need to do that. Like starting businesses or whatever. And some other guy started 1,000 businesses, and God's like, why don't you slow down a little bit and be balanced out? So there's not a one-size-fits-all formula. It's building a relationship with the God of the universe and realize he's in you, he's enough. And when you see that, you'll think and act totally different than people around you. You won't be intimidated. You won't be afraid of anything or anyone. You'll just be like, let's go.
He might tell somebody to sit and rest, and
Sure.
he might tell somebody else to go.
Yep. But in this stage of my life, I can only speak from where I'm at. I can't speak to where there's 7.8 billion people and everyone has a different perspective. So, guys, just shine, and whatever that shine looks like, you'll know the tree by its fruit. So, guys, go forth, bear fruit, enjoy this life, enjoy one another, and life's good, right?
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we love you guys. We'll see you again.